Hello, my name is Rob Leahy, and we're talking to you today as a group of individuals interested in putting the Afghan carpet industry back on its feet. We have all been involved in the development of the Afghan carpet industry up to this point, and now feel that we want to try to help move it to the next stage, which we have a plan to do. My background is that I've been in the business, the carpet industry, since 1971 and have successfully imported rugs from all over the world, understand the nature of making rugs and the proper processes with which they need to be imported and controlled. I'm going to introduce you to a couple of other fellows who have the same feelings and the same experiences that I've had since 2007, working in and out of Afghanistan with the traders, working with them from the stage of helping them develop their lines to the point now where, with government assistance, we are taking certain numbers of them, 15, to countries like China and to India to learn best practices as well as to help them sell their carpets. We intend to put together a project which, when funded, will give them the financial wherewithal to do the kind of production that countries like India and Pakistan currently do. We will look forward to telling you more about this plan in the future, but wanted to introduce ourselves, and I'm going to pass it around the table here. First to my friend Richard Ringrose, who has a similar background to my own in the carpet industry. Richard?
Yeah, as Rob says, my name is Richard Ringrose. I've been involved in the carpet industry since 1965 and have a 360-degree background in all aspects of carpet manufacturing, wholesaling, and even retailing. I currently live in London, but in the past have worked for a very large organization in New York, have considerable experience of wholesaling in most of the major countries in Europe. I'm bilingual in French and pretty much so in German, so don't struggle with business negotiations. In the context of Afghanistan, my first visit was 1977, when the country was very, very different to the country that exists now. So have been involved in carpet manufacturing in Afghanistan for many years. We see that the country itself has enormous potential in handmade carpet production, simply, or not simply, but partly as a result of the drop in manufacturing potential in countries like China, Iran, India, Pakistan. All of the major countries who traditionally manufacture hand-knotted carpets are now experiencing difficulty in obtaining the right quality of weavers and even the quantity of weavers, whereas Afghanistan has a huge reserve of very expert weavers who unfortunately are insufficiently employed due to a lack of orders, which come as a direct result of Afghanistan's isolation from international markets. As Rob has described, our intention is to help bring Afghanistan as a manufacturing country much closer in contact with international markets, which will benefit all parties involved. My colleague sitting next to me is Steve Landrigan, who I'm sure has some points to make as well.
Yeah, I'm Steve Landrigan. I have a little different background from the other gentlemen around this table. I'm a journalist, worked as a journalist for 20-some years, and then made a switch into the development industry. I worked in Eastern Europe for 10 years after the fall of communism, and then after 9/11, everything switched east to Afghanistan. I got involved in carpets in Afghanistan because I started to ask questions about how carpets are made, where were they made. I talked to a number of different dealers all up and down in the carpet bazaars in Kabul and elsewhere. Every place I went, I got different answers. So having a curious mind and wanting to nail down facts, I decided the best way to do this is to write a book. So with the help of an Afghan writer, Qais Akbar Omar, I set out to write a book about the making of Afghan carpets, and I wanted to stop at every stage along the way and get to know some of the people and hear their stories. So we talked to shepherds, we talked to the guys in the wool markets, we talked to the women who spin the wool, we talked to the people who dyed it, we talked to those who wove it, of course, but that most people think that carpet making is weaving. Weaving is just one small part of it. So we followed that through, and then the washing that comes after weaving, and then the trimming of the carpets, and even to the marketing. So for me, it was like a graduate school in the Afghan carpet industry. And we got to know everybody at every stage along the line. Qais likes to joke that we got to know the names of the sheep as well. I'm not sure about that. But the point is we saw that this is a very complex industry, a very viable industry, an industry that despite 30 years of war and turmoil in Afghanistan has managed to keep on going and to remain profitable. It's the single largest legal export from Afghanistan. And it is something that has attracted the attention of a lot of international aid organizations. And many of them have set up programs and have developed a momentum. From each program we've learned something. The Afghans have learned something. Now there's a time of transition in Afghanistan, and this momentum is growing, and it's a very, very good time for the private sector to step in and build on what's been happening. 10 years ago, the Afghan carpet industry was a group of people coming back from Pakistan and having to reestablish themselves in their own country. They've done that now. As Richard said, they've started to learn about markets. They're learning to look out beyond themselves. It's not just about looking at a loom, it's looking at customers in places like New York or Berlin or Cape Town. That's all happened in the past 10 years, and now it's a possibility for us to take it and go from it, and that's what we're here talking about today. I want you to meet my colleague, Alex Zahir, who amongst us has the distinction of being the only Afghan-born member of this team, who travels very often to Afghanistan to work in the carpet industry, and by my estimation is through family connections or marriage or schoolmates knows just about everybody in it.
Thank you very much, Steve. Good morning, all. I'm very glad to join all of you. When I came to this country, I was just thinking about how to establish my rug store. Now I'm teamed up and talking about all Afghanistan. Alex Zahir, did I say that? Alex Zahir, born in Afghanistan. I did not choose rug business, but the rug has chosen me, so I happen to be born. My background comes there. This is all I've done in my whole life, and I've witnessed the revolutionary changes in Afghan carpet production in Pakistan among the refugees. Carpet export is forming almost 30 to 35% of whole Afghanistan, estimated 400 million export, but numbers are estimated here. I'm been doing it. I've been a bridge between American buyers and some other buyers between Afghans, and I do have orders, and I'm exactly doing what we are thinking to do in a bigger scale, in a smaller scale. My friend Richard Ringrose said there is a reserve of skilled Afghan weavers in Afghanistan, and there are customers looking for good product. We are just trying to bridge these two people. We are trying to connect the dots, and the dots are solid, and it's there. According to my knowledge, being born to a rug weaving family in this business and all these experts here, we know that there is a desperate need for Afghans to be connected with the buyers, and the quality control, I have done it, and we have a team of those people to do that, and Afghans are very anxious to do that also. We're well connected in that regard. Thank you very much. Thank you all.
So you've met the team there, and you might be wondering, why are we doing this? The fact is that, as Alex said, the carpet business, or as Steve said, the rug business is in Afghanistan the largest export, legal export from the country. But even more than that, it touches the lives of up to 5 million people across the country, which is 18 to 20% of the population. There's no other industry that could have a greater impact on the life of the Afghan people moving forward after 2014. In addition to understanding and knowing the carpet business well, we have each of us spent the time with the Afghan people, knowing that the help they need is available through the industries that will be developed after 2014. And we believe the carpet industry has the greatest potential to do that than any other. We thank you for listening, and we look forward to talking to you again in the future.